Let's do this.
Here we go.
This ain't E.T. Phone home. I don't know. Sorry.
I love it. Great. Welcome to On the Haunt. I'm Whitney.
And I'm Amy.
And that's all. Goodbye. I don't know. Did you just hear some very professional music?
Yeah.
By any chance? You just did. Did you like it?
Yeah.
That's our theme song. We're
Sorry,
so awkward.
We don't know how to compliment people.
We
it's
don't.
Really
or
weird.
know how to start this podcast.
We're equally as uncomfortable giving compliments as we are receiving them.
Yes, clearly.
What is that? That is a thing.
It's just who we are. So we wanted to just take a minute real quick before we get into our super spooky stories today to give a shout out to Chris Brokaw. So our theme music, it's so good, Amy.
It is so good.
Yeah, compared to our stupid butts, like it's most.
It is way too professional to even be associated with On the Haunt. So
every time I listen to an episode, which is often, because I'm a total psychopath.
We're our own fangirls.
We are.
Don't judge us.
Total psycho. Listening to myself, I'm just like, it's so ridiculous how professional that is, and then in come us.
Yes.
Saying something dumb or whatever.
Exactly, and he just played the outro music for today because he changes that up each week, and it is so incredible.
He's
it goes
so
well
talented.
with our theme this week.
Yes, so we just want to give a huge thank you to Chris. He's such a talented musician. When Amy and I decided we were finally going to pull the trigger on this, I just shot him a text and was like, "Hey, Chris, can you make something really weird and creepy?" And he's like, "Yeah, that's my middle name." And boy, did he deliver. So thank you, Chris. And thanks to Mandy.
Absolutely. They host us every weekend while we do this in their home.
In their prayer closet.
Yes.
Thank you, guys.
Yes. Greatly appreciated.
Today, Amy brought them 500 bagels.
Yes. And a vat of cream cheese.
Yes.
This is how I show my appreciation.
It is. All right. Well, let's get into it.
All right.
Here we go.
Hang on. Haunted housekeeping.
Haunted housekeeping. Haunted housekeeping.
Shockingly enough, I don't think we really gave any misinformation last week that we're aware of. However, I am going to acknowledge the fact that I could not string together sentences or form words last week. I do listen back, people. I'm aware that I mispronounced 95,000 things.
How do you figure that?
Figure? I know it's not figure. It's figure. I don't...
Hey, if we have to apologize for speaking incorrectly, we're going to be apologizing every single episode.
Oh, I know. And I'm not apologizing.
No.
I'm just recognizing the fact that it made me cringe when I heard how many words I mispronounced. So I'll try to be... Actually, no, I won't. I'll mispronounce a million more today. But really, that's all we have for haunted housekeeping this week. So yay us.
Look at us, professional journalists.
Thank you, creepy pasta wiki fandom or whatever.
I still didn't look at that website. Dang it.
You're lost.
I need to. Well, I went down some weird rabbit holes for the one today.
Awesome. Which, by the way, our theme today is alien abductions. I love how we look at each other like, are we saying the same thing? Is this even our theme?
Why do we
talked about this
Why do we
first?
try to do that? We always, last time we had to restart it like 3 times because I kept trying to just meet Amy's eye and just say whatever she was saying.
If I ever wear a hat, this is not going to work.
No.
You have to be able to have eye contact.
Oh my God. And I'm so awkward. Okay, great.
All right.
And I say okay, great all the time. I know. Get over it.
I told you it's your catchphrase. We're putting on mugs and t-shirts.
Yeah.
Buy our merch if we ever get any.
Yeah, if we ever do. And then last time we talked about Fergie peeing her pants. Okay, everything's coming back to me. Great. Okay. All right. You ready to talk about some alien abductions?
I am super excited about this episode.
And I see who you're doing on your paper, and I'm super excited for your story too. So I am doing The Encounter at Pascagoula, Mississippi.
Ooh. I do not know this one.
Why am I trying to make... I'm trying to make music. That's really bad. Okay. My sources are The Sun. Is that a newspaper? I think it's a newspaper. The Sun.
The Planet.
The Sun, the Star.
Or Star, yes.
Literally, the sun was like, listen, okay? There's some stuff going on up here. Anyway, no,
I need
the sun.
you to tell my story.
That's a newspaper, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It sounds like a...
I should have wrote that
what
down.
else would it
I
be?
don't know.
The Sun.
Newspaper,
it was just
magazine.
someone's son. It was my son, Brecken. He decided to just talk about something that is of zero interest to
Like,
him.
hi, Brecken. Can you tell me about... Okay. And the Clarin Ledger, also a newspaper, I assume. And SpookySouthCoast.com.
Okay. That's out of all
That's a
three, that
website.
sounds legitimate.
That's my best source. Okay. So it was October 11th, 1973.
Okay.
Co-workers Calvin Parker Jr., who we're going to continue to call Parker, 19, and Charles Hickson, who we're going to continue to call Hickson, 42, got off work and decided they were going to go fishing at the Pascagoula River. Is that weird?
No, that's not weird.
A 19 and a 42-year-old? Like what?
Oh, hanging out?
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know. I go on to believe they're lovers. I don't know if that's true or not.
I love how we insert our own narratives.
Yes.
Every single time we do
I do
this.
have a little bit of proof later, maybe, but that's where I went with it. But it's probably, I mean,
And
look
it's
it
okay.
up.
I
don't know.
They're of legal age. It's
They
fine.
are, yeah, for sure. So it's like live your truth. Okay, so they got off work and they decided to go fishing at the Pascagoula River. The spot they were fishing at was near an old shipyard, and it had an old pier on it that they were sitting on. I like how I'm
Oh,
getting.
how romantic.
See what I
Really
mean?
cute.
It's about 6 p.m. The sun is beginning to set. So imagine it. They're sober, by the way. That's important. They're just hanging out. The sun is setting. And then one of them notices that a blue light is reflecting off the water. So I guess they're just looking down at the water, don't notice something above them, but okay.
They're catching fish with their hands.
Yes.
So it's really focused on
what's
water.
that called when you catch catfish with your... Noodling. Do you know what I'm talking about? Do you know what I'm talking
Yes,
about? Okay.
I do. I guess I didn't know that's what it was called, but
Noodling. Maybe I'm making that up.
No.
I'm pretty sure that's right. Okay.
they were noodling
So they were
and
noodling
spooning
and spooning.
on the pier down by the river.
Well, this is already off to a great start. So they're noodling and they're spooning and they notice this blue light. And I love this about them, but their first instinct was that it was the police coming to tell them that they needed to go home.
I mean, were they illegally? Oh, my pen. This story is so intense. I just snapped my pen. So that's how this is starting
You're
out.
so strong.
I
Amy.
am. Look out.
It's one thing you probably didn't know about Amy, but her muscles go on for days. Okay. So, yeah, they thought I guess maybe they were trespassing. I don't know. But I mean, it just kind of says something about them, right?
Yes.
So they look up, finally. 20 minutes has been, no. They just look up and see that the blue light is coming from this craft in the sky, and it's unlike anything they'd ever seen before. And Parker said, a big light came out of the clouds. It was a blinding light.
Revved up like a deuce, another rolling. No one? Okay. Sorry.
I mean, this is, I love it. And this is Mississippi, so I will be giving them accents. Okay.
Okay.
It was hard to
Spot
tell
on.
with the light so bright, but it looked like it was shaped like a football. I would say, just estimating it was about 80 foot. It made very little sound, just a hissing noise.
Intriguing.
Yeah, and we don't, I mean, there are no ships that don't make sound, people. Just saying.
No.
So, I have a diagram here. I'll post it on Instagram and Facebook
Okay.
of the
yes,
ship.
very, very football shaped.
It's
Accurate
super
description.
super football-ish. 10 foot tall. This says 10 foot tall, 35 feet long, although his description said 80, so somewhere between 35 and 80 feet long.
I mean,
It's really hard to do
I'm really bad at judging
It's hard.
any type of distance
Especially
whatsoever.
if you're looking at a UFO.
Yeah, when
you
people
know?
ask me stuff, I'm like, oh, it's about 20 yards out. I don't even know what a yard,
No.
3 feet or in a yard, but don't ask me
No.
to even have a clue
Too much
visually
math.
how to do that.
Absolutely
No.
not. So here's where it gets real, you all. So again, imagine they're just standing there staring at it. A door opened on the ship. And this is their account, obviously.
Okay, while it's in the
They're
air.
alive. Yes.
Oh, God, so it's hovering above the
Yes.
water.
So it's hovering above the water. And a door opens on the ship, and 3 creatures emerged and seized the men, floating or levitating them onto the craft.
Oh my God! So,
So,
they
like-
just like it's a drive-by freaking abduction. They just great.
Yeah, so add that to your list of
Yeah,
fears.
something else to be totally.
Oh, you
completely
think that UFO
terrified
has
of.
to land to abduct you? Nope.
Wrong.
So it just levitated them up into. I'm sorry. I like how I'm surprised at my own story. But it's not, I mean, I've read this, but it's not until you say things out loud that maybe
Right.
I'm an audio learner.
That's creepy.
Okay, so both men report being paralyzed and numb and that the aliens had given them something, presumably to paralyze them or calm them down.
Oh, well.
So they gave
that
them a
would make
little
sense.
Zanny, the
Yeah.
nanny.
Casey
God, I
Anthony.
know.
Yeah, and then Casey Anthony stepped off of her mother's ship.
God, I hate Casey Anthony.
I do too. She's such a skank.
Yeah. Parker claimed that he had fainted due to fright. Parker out for the count. He's like,
I mean,
"Goodbye."
that's a
Absolutely.
reasonable reaction
For sure, for
to a
sure.
drive-by abduction.
They just okay. So now we're describing the creatures. These are not your average grays.
Okay.
Okay, they're not. It's
All right.
real Shrek-like.
Oh.
The creature's skin was pale in color and wrinkled, and they had no eyes that the men could discern, and slits
Okay.
for mouth. Slits for slits.
Mouths.
What? Mouths. No, they each just had one mouth. Because on this diagram it says slit mouth.
How do they eat a triple cheeseburger with
Right.
just a slit
Slit
for a mouth?
mouth.
No.
Okay. Yeah, great. Their heads also appeared directly on their shoulders with no discernible neck. I don't.
I'm sorry, but this makes them not as scary.
No, for sure. It gets worse. There were 3 carrot-like growths instead. One where the nose would be on a human.
Okay.
The other 2 where ears would normally be on a human.
So they're like the
So it's
snowmen?
So it's Olaf.
Great.
This is where it gets a little gross, though. The beings had lobster-like claws at the ends of their arms, and they seemed to have only one leg. So it just hops.
Just hopping. That's why they had to do a drive-by. They're like,
They just levitate everywhere because they're like,
we can't swim. We can't get in this water. We only have one leg.
have one leg.
It requires 2 to propel yourself through the water.
So Hickson later described the creatures' lower bodies looking as if their legs were fused together with elephant-like feet. So it's like their 2 legs are kind of like stuck together.
So kind of like a
And then-
mermaid.
Oh,
some-
shoot!
Right?
Well, I don't want... If this is what a mermaid is, I don't want to be one.
I feel like if this would have happened later in time, you've just described so many Disney characters or Pixar characters. Like, it's all
it's
these...
Shrek as a mermaid. Shrek the
And
fourth.
Olaf.
And Olaf. And Ariel. I mean, Ariel... Oh. I mean, and if you look at this picture, it literally looks like he's made of clay.
Yes.
It's very gross. Somebody
Gumbo. No,
It's Gumby.
no, not gumbo. Gumby.
Gumbo is a delicious entree of the Creole people.
Gumby, however, is this thing.
Is this thing, yes, but
Okay.
not as skinny.
Okay.
Okay. So Hickson also reported that the creatures moved in mechanical robotic ways.
Oh, great.
So they're robot aliens.
Okay, and if anyone's seen it, chapter 2,
Chapter 2.
so they move like the old lady. Great.
Yes, go see it chapter 2 if you
It
haven't.
was so terrifying.
So good.
It's 3 hours long, though. Brace
It's
yourself.
long. Go pee before.
Yes, pee before.
And buy a very small drink.
Yes, and sip it slowly.
Sip it very slowly.
You're welcome.
There's more football. I don't remember. There's more football things, shapes,
great.
things. Everything in this story is football shaped. Okay, so they get on the ship, and Hickson claims. So remember, Parker's asleep. He is passed out. He's down for the count. So he realized. He claims that he was levitated and hovered the whole time he was in the craft. So he never was like on something. And that he was examined by what looked like a large football-shaped mechanical eye about 6 to 8 inches in diameter that seemed to scan his body. So weird.
Wow.
Parker claimed that he could not recall what had happened to him inside the craft, although later, during sessions of hypnotic regression therapy...
Oh my God, my story has hypnotic regression therapy.
I love it. He offered some hazy details. The men were released after about 20 minutes, and the creatures levitated them. This is weird. I don't know what this means. Maybe you can help me. With Hickson's feet dragging along the ground back to their original positions on the riverbank. So, like, they couldn't get him up high enough, so he's just like...
I imagine like a caveman dragging the woman around by her hair. Just like...
So he's just like being levitated, but not high enough. It's like, can you lift me up a foot? Jeez.
We don't have the energy for this.
Right.
We're just going to half levitate you.
And it's this guy with no hair. Bless his heart. Look at
Maybe
him.
that's why he doesn't have it. Oh, no, his feet were dragging out the top of his head. That would explain.
It just rubbed all the hair off. Okay. So they get back to their cars. They run back to the truck. And on one article I read, it said that they both took a shot. They were like, oh, shit. Took a shot. Because they're probably like...
That is completely reasonable.
Absolutely.
I can get
so
that.
Parker's like, I guess he's awake at this point. He didn't want to tell anyone what happened. But Hickson was like, no, we have to tell someone what just happened to us. So they contacted Keesler Air Force Base. It's a terrible name for it. Okay. Keesler, L's.
Not to be confused with the little cookie makers.
It's just a ton of L's driving airplanes. Okay. But the Air Force people were like, that's the police. You should call them. So then they contacted the Jackson County Sheriff's Office.
Oh, I'm sure that went over real well,
Yes.
too, in the 70s in the South.
Yes,
Great.
for sure. So they arrive at the Sheriff's Office, and they're both frantic, as you would be.
Of course.
They both had a puncture wound in their arm, just one wound. The police were obviously skeptical, but listened to their story and recorded it. And here's the part that I love. Okay, and I'm going to put you on the spot to do some reenactment here in a second.
Oh, great. Great.
Well, you're just going to have to help me read something.
Okay.
So the police decided that they'd leave them both alone in the room with the recording going.
Okay.
To see, like, okay, they're obviously going to be like, all right, now, this is what we're going to
get our
say
stories
next.
together.
Yeah, but that's not what happened.
Okay.
In the recording, they are audibly upset. They are freaking the F out, and they're shaken up. And so I have a partial transcript here. Do you want
great.
Do you want to be Parker or Hickson? Do you want to be the 42-year-old or the 19?
I mean, I don't care. I'll be Hickson.
I don't actually remember who's because it says their first
Calvin
name.
and Charles.
That's their first name. Hold on. Calvin is Parker.
Okay.
Okay.
So
you can YouTube this and listen to it, and it's so interesting because they do sound literally afraid.
Okay. Sounds good.
Can you see this? Okay.
Yes. I've got my glasses on. We're good.
Okay. You don't have to do an accent if you don't want to, but I'm.
Oh, you know I'm going to
Okay,
try.
great. And this is going to be amazing. Okay.
Okay.
Wait. Who are you?
I'll be Charles. You
Okay,
be
I'm Calvin. I gotta get home and get a bed or get some nerve pills or see the doctor or something. I can't stand it. I'm about to go half crazy.
I tell you, when we're through, I'll get you something to settle you down so you can get some damn sleep.
I can't sleep yet. Like it is, I'm just damn near crazy.
Well, Calvin, when they brought me out of that thing, God damn it, I like to never in hell got you straightened out. I sound like someone off deciding women. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Delta Burke. Okay, sorry.
You're not done.
Oh, I'm not done.
Charles just keeps talking.
God, Charles, chatterbox. My damn arms, my arms. I remember they just froze up and I couldn't move, just like I stepped on a damn rattlesnake. They didn't do me that way. This is great.
I passed out. I expect I never passed out in my whole life.
I've never seen nothing like that before in my life. You can't make people believe.
I don't want to keep sitting here. I want to see a doctor.
They better wake up and stop believing. They better stop believing.
You see how that damn door come right up?
I don't know how it opened, son. I don't know.
It just laid up and just like that, those sons of bees, just like that, they come out.
I know. You can't believe it. You can't make people believe it.
I paralyzed right then. I couldn't move.
They won't believe it. He's really hung up on this. They gonna believe it one of these days. Might be too late. I knew all along there was people from other worlds up there. I knew all along. I never thought it would happen to me. Now I'm a Southern Belle. What is going on? Sorry.
Sound like Dolly Parton. Steel Magnolia.
Thank you.
I know. I love.
Smile. It increases your face value.
You know yourself. I don't drink. Calvin's like over in left field.
Yes.
Calvin, get back.
I know that, son. When I get to the house, I'm going to get me another drink. Make me sleep. Look, what we sitting around for? I got to go tell Blanche. Who is Blanche?
She's from Golden Girls.
Blanche, what we waiting for?
I got to go to the house. I'm getting sick. I'm going to get out of here. You left the room.
Oh, I left the room.
It's hard to believe. Oh, God, it's awful. I know there's a God up there.
And scene. I can't believe we both just said that. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, that was completely improv. I'm sure you couldn't tell. You probably think we rehearsed that over and over again.
She didn't even know until I just said it on the podcast. I like how I forgot there was a Blanche in there. That's so random
great.
and awesome.
Oh, Blanche.
Whew, okay, I am sweating now. That was great. We have a future
great.
in acting.
We do.
Clearly. Okay.
We're available for voiceovers as well, if anyone would like to hire us.
If you like our Southern accent, our Southern Belle accents, please let us know. So as you can tell, I mean, they were clear. I mean, we made fun of and we're being silly, but like these guys were really freaked out. So you could tell they weren't making this up.
No.
They were not as good of actors as moi and her. And me. Moi. Another moi.
And you. I don't know. What's French for you? You?
Why do I try?
I don't know.
Yeah. For moi and you. Okay. Anyone?
All I can think of is Miss Piggy always saying, moi, moi. She never talked about anyone else, so I don't know what the French thing is for you.
Oh, God. Okay. All right. So they both took sobriety tests as well as polygraph tests, and they passed.
Well, there, in your face.
Yeah,
Skeptics.
and they also passed a voice stress test, whatever that means. What's a voice stress test?
Kind of like when a lie detector, you know how it's able to judge
your
like
heart rate?
Yeah, when things aren't regulated, like when your
Maybe.
pulse and stuff goes up and down. I bet maybe to see if your voice, I bet when you lie, your voice changes.
It's not scrolling, by the way.
But the time's moving.
Okay,
We're good.
great. Okay. Sorry. Slight panic. Okay. So it was all over. Like, you know, they were not abducted again or anything like that. But obviously news spread worldwide. Like, this was a huge deal. It was all over the news. Hickson was not afraid of going on and giving.
Good for him.
Yeah,
because you know that there are so many people that these kind of things happen to,
Yes.
and they are too afraid to speak out.
And
I have a personal experience. I'll share that at the end of the podcast.
Oh, great!
But I
have
don't
one
share with many
from my
people
mother
'cause-
that I'll share. It's not mine.
People think I'm nuts.
Yeah, I don't think you're nuts.
Thank you. I
believe
appreciate
you.
that.
So, so Hickson, he was like out there and told his story. Parker, on the other hand, was not. In the years that followed, he changed jobs many times. He relocated to other towns when people realized who he was. He did not want to discuss it. And at one point after the ordeal, he was hospitalized for an emotional breakdown.
Oh, poor guy.
Yeah.
And you got to realize, too, this was the 70s.
Yes.
It's not like nowadays where you can just get online and find, like, abductee support groups or people to talk to about that. It had to be so lonely.
But later on, he did come out and finally share some stuff. So I'm going to get into
him.
it. And also, the reason why I thought they were partners and why I just made that up, basically, is because if you go online and Google alien abduction at Pascagoula, Mississippi, tons of stuff comes up. And they even have some of the, like, original legal police documents. And it has them living at the same address.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I don't know. Yeah. And maybe, like, Parker was young. Maybe he was homeless. Maybe he was, like, living on his couch. I don't know. I just made my own narrative there. But
whatever.
So,
I mean, there are some intrigues with older guys. If Liam Neeson came knocking on my door, I'd be like, hey, what's up, Liam?
Excuse me, Liam. In a later interview over 20 years after the initial incident, so we're talking the 80s, Parker's story became so much more elaborate. So here he finally came out and was like, look, I did not faint. That was a lie. I couldn't talk about it. And so I made that up as self-preservation. And here's what he says actually happened. He claimed that he was indeed, in fact, conscious.
So for real is what that means.
In fact. Oh my God. He was in fact conscious when the creatures took him on board the craft and led him into a room at the end of a hallway to the left of the craft's entrance. So I guess they were walking at this point, or levitating. Okay. I don't know. I'm going to say levitating. It's way cooler. While he was not able to define it, Parker felt a sense of imminent harm. Nevertheless, he was led back outside the craft and deposited back into his original position unharmed, like we shared earlier. I shared earlier. We, one person. So he then claimed that 19 years later from that day when they were originally taken, so that was a year before he came out with this story, that he came in contact with the same craft again.
I knew you were going to tell me that. I was like, oh, don't tell me they came back.
This time he voluntarily walked aboard the craft. He met with the same female being that had examined his body in 1973. He claimed he had a conversation with the being in English, in which she communicated to him a religious message. And I found it somewhere, but I didn't include it. But it was something about, and who knows, like, it started to get to a point where I was like, is this his point? Is he trying to, like, push his agenda now?
Was it L. Ron Hubbard?
No, right.
Where are we going with
this?
Right.
It was a Christian message.
Okay.
So I will share that. But I was just kind of like, what? Okay, weird. So, I don't know.
I mean, maybe that was his coping mechanism, too, though.
Maybe so.
You know?
Maybe so. Fair enough, right? So, that's the story of the whole encounter, but I have a couple more things I want to share.
Okay.
So,
you've got me.
More witnesses came forward years and years later and admitted that the same night those two guys were abducted, they saw things in Pascagoula. So it's like, if you just said that in the beginning, this guy wouldn't have literally been hospitalized for mental breakdown, you know.
Right. But again, it was the 70s. It was the South.
Right.
Not in any way making a disparaging comment about the South, but let's be honest, critics are very vocal in that area, and it probably made it much more difficult to be like, hey, I saw a UFO.
Right. So if you see a UFO, you should just come out with it.
Just tell it.
Just tell us.
Yes.
We'll keep it a secret.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
5 minutes.
Yeah, and then we'll tell everyone. No, it's okay. All right. So Joey Nelson of Mobile, Alabama, Phoenix, Arizona. Is that a part of that song? New York, LA, Houston, Tampa Bay.
We're going to have to start paying like copyright money towards some of these songs we just keep blurting out. We need to just stick to the Chris Brocraw originals from here on out.
Sorry. Oops. Anyway, he was 25 at the time and had traveled to make money playing pool.
He's a hustler, baby.
Yeah. Great.
There's another $5.
Yeah. We're not making money off of any of this, so we can't owe money.
Yeah.
He said he and two friends were driving on U.S. Highway 90 on their way to win some money on the night Parker and Hickson claimed to have been abducted. He said, that night we were going to New Orleans. I would say we were probably in between Pascagoula and Biloxi. We were driving and talking. So they looked ahead and they seen something they'd never seen before. We were just mesmerized. A big orb of light up in the air. We saw that and nobody could say anything. Nobody could move. Nelson said the three of them were traveling at about 75 miles an hour when something came out of the sky and hovered in front of them. After a while, a small ball of light came down right next to me. It was about the size of a beach ball. I don't know how far away it was, but it seemed like if that windshield wasn't there, I could have touched it. It was flashing and clicking and flashing and clicking. We could audibly hear it. I know it sounds crazy, but it seems like they were taking pictures of us. It seemed like it was in front of me for 10 minutes, but I don't know. We were just mesmerized. And then it streaked away.
Oh my God, I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
Being in a vehicle, because where are you going to go? You know what I mean? You're not going to outrun it. You're not. Yeah.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah. So the following day, he saw the news about Parker and Hickson on TV, and he says it was confirmation for what he'd seen, but he let 45 years pass and is only talking about it after reading recent articles about Parker. I talked to Ricky and Jimmy, those who were with Nelson. Oh, his friends.
I'm like
wait,
we're just...
Who's Ricky
They
and
were
Jimmy?
with Blanche
Right.
at the coffee shop.
But other people would have thought you were an idiot. I wasn't going to tell anybody. That's why I kept quiet a long time. So if actually, as I was researching this, there's tons of articles about this because recently, I think, Charles recently, no, not Charles. Charles died, but not recently. And he never backed down. And Parker, after years of silence, wrote a book in 2018 called Pascagoula, The Closest Encounter. And so there was a ton of new news articles about it. And there's a plaque there now.
Oh,
so it's like a plaque at where they were abducted. And I don't obviously know what it says because I've never been to Pascagoula, Mississippi, but it sounds like an amazing place. But yeah, that is the encounter at Pascagoula,
great
Mississippi.
Story.
There they are.
Nice job,
Thank you.
Whitney.
Thank you so much.
All right. Well, here we go.
Okay.
I'm going to dive into, and this is a pretty well-known case. It's pretty much the first alien abduction case to really get nationwide, worldwide attention. This is about the abduction of Barney and Betty Hill. Woohoo!
I love
Bonnie
this
and
story.
Betty. I love their names. I love how cute they are. They were
I love
such
everything
a
about
sweet
them.
couple.
Yes.
So, Barney and Betty Hill were, and this is all straight from Wikipedia. I loved it. That Wikipedia had so much information
Yes.
on them that I did not have to venture out. I did venture out just to make sure what I was getting from Wikipedia seemed accurate, because you know how Wikipedia is.
If they have enough info, though, use it.
So I'm going straight from there, and that makes it easier for me to not leave out any sources and get myself in trouble. So Barney and Betty Hill were an American couple who claimed that they were abducted by extraterrestrials in a rural portion of the state of New Hampshire from September 19th to September 20th, 1961. It was the first widely publicized report of an alien abduction in the United States.
1961. Interesting.
Yeah, we're going way back.
Yeah.
Way, way back.
Way back. Way back to New Hampshire.
Yes. The incident came to be called the Hill abduction and the Zeta Reticuli incident because the couple stated they'd been kidnapped by aliens who claimed to be from the Zeta Reticuli system.
What? Like the Milky Way? Like a galaxy?
Sounds good to me.
Okay, we're going to go with that.
I'm not going to pretend like I have a
Zeta
clue.
Reticuli.
Yeah, I like it. Sounds like a sorority.
Right.
It was just a bunch of girls making us take shots and play beer pong. It was so weird.
No more pillow fights. I don't know.
Their story was adapted into the best-selling 1966 book, The Interrupted Journey, and the 1975 television movie, The UFO Incident, which I watched like the first 5 minutes on YouTube. I'm like, I can't. 1975, it was not a good year for movies.
What's the movie or the book called?
The Interrupted Journey. In September 2016, plans were announced to make a film based on the events with an unknown release date. So, well, you know, I mean, it's only been a few years. Oh. In September 2016, plans were announced to make a film. So, yeah, I will be all over that. It's got to be better than the 1975 version with James Earl Jones as Barney Hill.
Really?
Yeah, it was not. I think it was maybe a made-for-TV movie. I don't know. Oh,
was
yes,
like
it says right on here, the television movie, The UFO Incident.
That means made for TV.
Yes, it was, you know how those were, like after-school special kind
Terrible.
of things. So most of Betty Hill's notes, tapes, and other items have been placed in the permanent collection at the University of New Hampshire, her alma mater.
That's cool.
Yeah, I mean, as far as abduction victims go, she was top grade, man. She was not backing down from her claims, and she really documented everything and got her story out there.
Is that like a museum?
Well, it's at her alma mater, so I don't
see it.
Probably like in a library
Road
or something,
trip.
I would assume. Yeah,
We'd
nice.
like to go to the library, please.
Oh, and this, like your story, in July 2017, the State Division of Historical Resources marked the site of the alleged craft's first approach with a historical marker.
I love that.
Isn't
and
that
I'm
great?
so surprised by that also. Aren't you?
I am, but I guess if you're from one of those towns that doesn't have a real claim to fame, it's like, well,
that's a claim to
we don't
fame.
have a lover's leap, but we do have a UFO abduction site.
Yeah.
We're gonna put that up, and I mean, you know, whatever.
We need to take a road trip.
Tourism.
Let's buy an RV.
Let's do it.
Paint it something
Can
weird.
it please be an Airstream?
Yes, for
Okay,
sure.
I'm on it. We just want to be
It has
Miranda
a
Lambert.
Ouija
everyone.
board on the side, like painted on. Blood splatters.
Everywhere we go, accidents just start
Right.
happening on the highways. It's great. We're a good time.
It's real distracting.
A stream of death. Okay, sorry, reeling it back in. So the Hills lived in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. Barney was employed by the United States Postal Service, while Betty was a social worker. So they were like legitimately established. They had a lot to lose by coming forward.
Yes.
So I just think it's important to point that out. They weren't just a
absolutely.
couple
Civil servant and
whack
helping
jobs
professional.
wandering the streets.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Active in the local Unitarian congregation, the Hills were also members of the NAACP and community leaders. And Barney sat on a local board of the United States Commission of Civil Rights.
Weren't they an interracial couple?
They were an interracial couple, which
is
fantastic.
Yes.
I absolutely, clearly no problem with that. But I also think in the 1960s, people sucked. Mm-hmm. And I do think that a lot of people took away or tried to take away their credibility because they were an interracial couple.
That
like
still
seriously,
happens.
1960s, get with the program.
Yeah.
So stupid. So stupid. These people went through a huge ordeal. And the fact that their interracial relationship had to in any way play a part in people using that as ammunition against their credibility is stupid.
Yeah.
According to a variety of reports given by the Hills, the alleged UFO sighting happened on September 19, 1961, around 10:30 p.m. The Hills were driving back to Portsmouth from a vacation in Niagara Falls and Montreal. See, I'm correcting myself now. I can speak, people.
That's your catchphrase now?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Oh, my God.
Just south of Lancaster, New Hampshire, Betty claimed to have observed a bright point of light in the sky that moved from below the moon and the planet Jupiter upward to the west of the moon. I mean, Betty's got her act together.
Betty know? Betty's like, obviously, that's Jupiter.
Yes.
I wouldn't know.
I am a social worker and astronomer.
I can barely find the North Star.
I can barely find the moon. Who am I kidding? While Barney navigated U.S. Route 6, Betty reasoned she was observing a falling star. Only it moved upward. Yeah, no, Betty, not
What's
a falling
gravity?
Star. Since it moved erratically and grew bigger
there's no
and brighter.
gravity in outer space.
True. So,
Okay,
see,
never
falling
mind.
stars can dance all over the place.
Sorry, interrupted you.
Nope, you're fine. Since it moved erratically and grew bigger and brighter, Betty urged Barney to stop the car for a closer look, as well to walk their dog, Delcy. I mean, as long as you're going to pull
She
over, Barney,
needed to
while
potty.
I examine this, can we? Let's just take the dog out.
Weird.
Barney stopped at a scenic picnic area just south of Twin Mountain. Betty looked through binoculars because
she's
I love
on
Betty.
point.
She is so prepared
Betty
for
just
anything.
has a bag of tricks.
Yeah, I mean, if
Mary
I'm going to get
Poppins
lost on a mountain somewhere, I want Betty by my side,
yeah.
people. It is not going to end like the
just
Donner
had
Party. She's going to keep it
Oh my God, the
in
Donner
check.
Party. Did you listen to that episode of last podcast?
Yes, that was-
Oh my God.
episodes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
So
I
good.
did.
Anyway.
So looking through the binoculars, she observed an odd-shaped craft flashing multicolored lights travel across the face of the moon.
What?
Because her sister
Ew.
had several years earlier said she'd seen a flying saucer, Betty thought it might be what she was observing.
Oh wow.
So she already had some family history where her sister had said that. I mean, her sister
Which-
didn't claim to be abducted or anything,
No.
but she said that she had
But
seen.
which seems to be a thing sometimes, right? That's interesting. It went across the face of the moon. I mean,
Yeah.
you can't deny.
No.
Nothing's come. No star is coming between us and the moon.
No, and that was what Betty was getting more. That was kind of why. And I
You'd start panicking.
listened to, there's audio of their hypnoregression therapies.
Oh.
And Barney is even kind of talking like, I didn't want to do this, but Betty was being so persistent and I was getting so annoyed because she was just really trying to convince me that this was a UFO and I knew that that wasn't possible. So, I mean, she was really, really, really insistent on this. And he was more the naysayer, like, Betty, stop it. I mean, to the point he was getting upset with her. I think he
Okay.
felt like she was either playing a prank on him or that she was just being irrational.
Freaked out.
So, through the binoculars, Barney went ahead and got them and observed what he reasoned to be a commercial airliner toward Vermont on its way to Montreal. I love how they're so
How do you know that?
like,
I'm like, it's
direction
going-
oriented. I'm like, it went left. I don't. That's as specific
I know.
as
I
I
can't
can
even give
possibly
like
get.
compass
No.
compass directions.
No.
God.
Which apparently, though, in another article I'd read when they were doing, I don't know if that was in this or not, but they were doing, after this all happened, some of their own tests at home because nobody believed them. And when they put the compass in the backseat of the car, it quit working. It just started spinning.
Ew.
So I don't know.
that's
that
not
may be
right.
in here. I don't know. But we'll find out.
hear it twice.
To be continued.
Yeah.
However, he changed his mind because without looking as if it had turned, the craft rapidly descended in his direction.
God.
This observation caused Barney to realize, and I quote, this object was a plane was not a plane.
Oh my God.
So they quickly returned to their car and drove toward
Betty!
Get the dog, we're going.
Get Darcy.
Gravel
What's the
flying,
dog's
just
name?
it's crazy, Delcy.
Delcy.
I know, they're so cute. I
So
found all
cute.
these family
How
photos
old are
of them.
Like 20s, 30s?
No. They're an older couple. I want to say
Okay.
40s, maybe.
Aw.
So their dog was like their baby. So
I
good
love
for them
it.
for not leaving their dog behind.
Yes. Yeah, for sure.
So they drove toward Franconia Notch, a narrow mountainous stretch of the road. They claim they continued driving on the isolated road, moving very slowly through Franconia Notch. What
does
an
that
interesting name for
And is
a
that
mountain.
so? Why are they driving slowly? Because it's unsafe, like the terrain.
Well, they were trying to observe the object.
Oh.
It kept getting closer
See, I
and
would have been like,
closer.
burn out.
Well, at one point, the object passed above a restaurant, And I don't know, Waffle House, are they hungry? I don't know what's going on. It passed above a restaurant and signal tower on top of Cannon Mountain and came out near the Old Man of the Mountain. I love how they just have all these,
I need to move to New Hampshire.
Landmark names.
Sounds great.
It is. Old Man of the Mountain.
Oh, just meet me at Old Man of the Mountain.
And I think it's so interesting that they're so familiar with all the names of these landmarks.
And they're not even from here. They're like traveling through.
Yeah, they're passing through.
Well, this is before, MapQuest. You needed to know.
They're like your granny. Exactly. You have to know where the landmarks are to find your way back. So that's why they knew what they were all. Shout out, Granny.
Yeah, Granny.
Betty testified it was at least 1.5 times the length of the granite cliff profile, which was 40 feet long, and that seemed to be rotating.
Ew.
The couple watched as the silent, illuminated craft moved erratically and bounced back and forth in the sky. So, and when I had listened to
it's falling.
Yes. And when I listened to the hypnotherapy tapes, like they had conceded to the fact we're not getting away from this.
Yes.
So we're just going to have to really observe it and see what's happening.
Imagine
that would
fear,
be
though? You would
so
seriously
terrifying.
just be like,
Terrifying.
I can't get.
No. I know I'm not getting away from it, so I guess maybe I better just pay really close attention so that if I come out this on the other end, I've got some details.
Oh my God.
I don't know. Approximately 1 mile south of Indian Head, they said the object rapidly descended toward their vehicle, causing Barney to stop in the middle of the highway. The huge silent craft hovered approximately 80 to 100 feet above the hill's 1957 Chevy Bel Air.
Yeah.
And filled the entire field of view in the windshield.
Oh my God.
So yeah, then you're just like, okay, I'm for sure not going. And I found this hilarious. It reminded Barney of a huge pancake.
Simpler times.
Those carbs are so scary. I can't.
My pancakes always rotate. I don't know.
And they're the size of my windshield. Although it's like, is this man versus food? What are we doing?
Yeah, I mean, I could eat that.
This is so cute. Carrying his pistol in his pocket. I'm like, God. What? Unless that shoots Mrs. Butterworth out, Barney. You ain't doing anything with your pistol.
Pew, pew, pew. Oh my God, you're just shooting at this metal spinning.
I don't think that's going to help.
No.
He stepped away from the vehicle and moved closer to the object. Using the binoculars, he claimed to have been about 8 to 11. He claimed to have seen about 8 to 11 humanoid figures who were just peering out of the craft's windows.
I love that. So they're like, look, Mom, look at these weird humans.
I just imagine someone being like, stop it. You're getting your snot all over the windows. Stop it. Quit looking out there. They'll see you. They'll see you.
They're clearly not like your family who ducks and hides.
No, not at all. The complete opposite.
That is so funny, though. They're just like,
they're just looking out.
Oh,
and he said they seem to be looking right at him.
Are they
So
grays?
that's not so much funny. Well, they give a little bit.
Okay. I'm just trying
more,
to. Oh my God, that is so creepy.
Because they're going to kind of tell you, they do some sort of mind alteration to make you think they look like something they did not look like.
Whoa.
Yeah. I mean, this is some Jedi mind trick stuff. I can't believe I said that. I
crap.
know nothing about Star Wars.
You
at
know
all.
everything
I don't
about
know why
Star
I'm
Wars.
pretending like I have a
Oh
clue.
my God.
So,
I've never imagined. I've never imagined that flying saucers have like windows you can look out.
Yeah.
Like sometimes they have windows. I'm just imagining artistic renderings of them, but
True. It's like a plane.
but you never see. Okay,
pull the shutter down. The sun's getting in my eyes. I'm done.
Where's the pilot? Like
probably screaming for them to get their faces out in the windows.
Heads.
I can't see.
We're about to run. Oh my God.
We're gonna run over Dulcie.
We're about to run into Old Man's Cliff or whatever. They know the names too. We're like, how do they know?
My insurance deductor or premiums are sky high because you kids keep making me run into the side of the mountain.
High.
Pun intended.
Ching. We're from the Alpha Zeta.
I feel like we're really screaming into this. We're from that sorority, and we do not want to pay anymore. We don't have a flow on our planet, okay? She can't give us the price tool.
Oh my God.
Okay, where am I?
Enough insurance jokes.
So, I know, because they're so funny.
We're so lame. It's so great. I'm just still stuck on people looking like aliens looking out the window.
Yeah, that's so creepy.
Okay, I'm
creepy.
gonna shut my mouth now.
Okay, speaking of aliens looking out the windows, in unison, all but one figure, like I said, figure correctly, who were peering out the craft's windows. Oh
God!
No, just kidding. Back up. I got off
What
track.
are they about
So
to
in
do?
unison, all but
What are they
suspense is killing you.
Are they going to wait?
All but one figure moved to what appeared to be a panel on the rear wall of the hallway that encircled the front portion of the craft. The one remaining figure continued to look at Barney and communicated a message telling him to stay where you are and keep looking.
So the rest of them went to like a panel on the wall.
Yes.
Pew, 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 pew.
But one just stayed there with the mind control. So Barney had a recollection of observing the humanoid figures where, I mean, they're really testing me today with these figures. Wearing glossy black uniforms and black caps. I'm like, Janet Jackson, is that you? Circa 1992? That would be amazing. They're like, my first name ain't baby, it's Janet. Miss Jackson, if you're nasty. Like, what is happening? Why are they wearing clothes?
Why are they wearing
And why are
clothes?
they wearing hats? Black. Why are they matching? So many questions
So
about their wardrobes.
cult-like. You're not at Jonestown.
No.
Get your Nikes off.
Red lights on what appeared to be batwing fins began
Wait,
to
what?
telescope out of the side of the craft, and a long structure descended from the bottom of the
Okay,
craft.
say the Batwing thing again.
Red lights on what appeared to be batwing fins began. So I think coming out like of the sides of
Okay.
the thing. I'm almost thinking like a
Oh.
landing, like
I see.
legs to land on.
It's
would
like
be
one of
my
those
guess.
real cool inflatable slides
Yes, exactly like that. Except
Not
with
at
red
all.
lights
with red lights.
and batwing fins.
I don't know what a
Okay,
Batwing
absolutely
is.
nothing like those slides.
Okay,
I
great.
retract. The silent craft approached to what Barney estimated was within 50 to 80 feet overhead and 300 feet away from him. On October 21st, 1961, he reported to National Investigations Committee on Aerial Phenomena. How do you even find that?
God, I don't know, but I want to work for them.
Yeah,
Please.
investigator Walter Webb, that the beings were somehow not human. So he couldn't really put his finger on it. Like they weren't completely out there, but they just somehow weren't human.
weren't
He
right.
was able to know that. Barney tore the binoculars away from his eyes and ran back to his car.
Oh my God.
Great. Good,
So
good call, Barney.
What? So that whole time he'd just been like this?
Yes.
They're looking at me.
But that being told him, stay
Don't-
where you
yeah.
are and keep looking. And
What
it was
happened
some
if you
sort of
don't?
mind
No one
control.
knows.
And in a near hysterical state, he told Betty, "They're gonna capture us." Great.
Oh my God.
I'm sure Betty's
They're-
like, "Well, I told you, Barney. I told you that was not an airplane. You should have listened."
Now's not the time, Betty. Oh my God.
He saw the object again shift its location to directly above the vehicle. He drove away at high speed, telling Betty to look for the object. So he's like, "I'm just going to drive. Betty, you be my lookout."
And it's so big. How are they missing?
Betty was up for the challenge because she rolled down the window and looked up.
Oh God. She's like, it's still there, Barney.
That's still there. You're not going to outrun this, Barney. Quit trying to be
Yeah, it's
so
intergalactic.
masculine. Not happening.
Toxic masculinity.
It is. Almost immediately, the Hills heard a rhythmic series of beeping or buzzing sounds, which they said seemed to bounce off the trunk of their vehicle. The car vibrated and a tingling sensation passed through the Hills' bodies. So there's like some sort of energy being
That's
radiated
so creepy.
here. They said they experienced the onset of an altered state of consciousness that left their minds dulled. A second series of beeping or buzzing sounds returned the couple to full consciousness. They found that they had traveled nearly 35 miles south, but had only vague, spotty memories of this section of the road. They recalled making a sudden, unplanned turn, encountering a roadblock, and observing a fiery orb in the road. So,
That
whatever
whole, like,
this is, they lost a whole block of time,
That creeps me out so
but they're
bad.
aware of it. That's what creeps me out. I would rather be like, "Oh,
How did I
I'm
get
just
here?
awake." Yeah, but to have that sense of awareness that something's happening.
Yeah, you're
Ugh.
like, why are we 35 miles away?
Yeah, no.
Oh my God.
So
That
writing,
happens so much
did.
to people too.
yes. This is which makes this even more believable
Yeah.
because this
You hear
is
that all the time.
the way it goes
Get
down.
on Reddit.
Yes. Arriving home at about dawn, the Hills assert that they had some odd sensations and impulses they could not readily explain. Betty insisted their luggage be kept near the back door rather than in the main part of the house, which I read something on another site. It was because she was so afraid that it had radiation contamination. Yeah. She didn't want to bring it into the house and continue that. So
Darcy, I already forgot.
Their watches never worked again.
Whoa.
Barney said the leather strap for the binoculars was torn, though he could not recall it tearing. The toes of his best dress shoes were scraped. So were they in levitate dragging him as well, like in your story? They took long showers to remove possible contamination, and each drew a picture of what they had observed.
Smart.
I love Barney and Betty.
They are smart.
Perplexed, the Hills say that they tried to reconstruct the chronology of events as they witnessed the UFO and drove home. But immediately after they heard the buzzing sounds, their memories became incomplete and fragmented. Oh my God. After sleeping for a few hours, Betty awoke and placed the shoes and clothing she had worn during the drive into her closet, observing the dress was torn at the hem, zipper, and lining. Later, when she retrieved the items from her closet, she noticed a pinkish powder on her dress. She hung the dress on her clothesline, and the pink powder blew away. But the dress was irreparably damaged. That was not my fault. That was a typo, and I tried to fix it with my own ink pen and thought it was a line. Because there were some places in here where they didn't put spaces between their words, so I drew these lines and it was really funny. When I get to this one word, I'm like, what is that word? And it's like, oh, never mind. There needs to be a space there.
That's a really big word.
She threw the dress away, but then changed her mind and retrieved it and hung it in her closet. Over the years, 5 labs have conducted chemical and forensic analysis on the dress.
Wow. They can't figure out what it is.
No.
Wow.
There were shiny concentric circles on their car's trunk that had not been there the previous day. Betty and Barney experimented with a compass, noting that when they moved it close to those spots, the needle would whirl rapidly. And when they moved it a few inches away from the shiny spots, it would drop down.
Yeah, because that was like a magnet or some shit that they used to pull up that car into the...
But there's still some residual something with it that it's still causing...
So you think they pulled the car up into the spacecraft?
I think so. Or they used some sort of a force to stop the car. Because remember, they don't really remember. They don't know what happened in that time.
Real big suction cups.
Yes, real big. On September 21st, Betty telephoned Pease Air Force Base to report their UFO encounter. I love how all these people are just like, I'm just going to call up the Air Force Base.
I guess it makes sense, though, because you're thinking they're in our airspace.
Yeah.
But then did they talk to them?
Well, she called to report it, even though she was... afraid of being labeled eccentric.
Yeah.
So she withheld some details. Just like in your story, she didn't tell them everything because she knew they were going to
lose her job as a social worker.
She was going to hear them roll their eyes right on the phone. Right. So she's like, okay, I'm just going to give them the basic.
Because literally, she's a social worker. Yeah. Imagine you'd lose all. I mean,
and her husband works for the U.S. Postal Service.
Yeah, government employee.
You're fired.
Yeah. Yeah.
Weirdo. On September 22nd, Major Paul Henderson telephoned the Hills for a more detailed interview. His report dated September 26th determined that the Hills had probably misidentified the planet Jupiter. Yes, the planet Jupiter chased us down.
It looked at me.
It was a giant pancake in my window. You're right. It was.
What? I mean, that's really insulting.
Yes, it really was. This was later changed to optical condition, inversion, and insufficient data.
As Georgia would say, it goes all the way to the top.
Yeah, come on, U.S. government, we know better.
We need to do a conspiracy episode because, come on.
Yeah. His report was forwarded to Project Blue Book, the U.S. Air Force UFO Research Project. Awesome. And that plays in a little bit later on, too, I think. Within days of the encounter, Betty borrowed a UFO book from a local library.
Yes, she did.
I love Betty.
Me too.
I can only hope that if I went through a situation like this, I would be a Betty.
Not me. I would probably be insane and you're like, Whitney, why are you wearing that house dress?
I'm giving myself way too much credit. I'm not going to be Betty.
You would be Betty. I love that there was a UFO book at their local library in the 60s.
It had been written by a retired Marine Corps Major, Donald E. Kehoe, who was also the head of NICAP. a civilian UFO research group.
Yes.
Nice.
We should start one of those.
Betty, I love you. So Betty wrote to him. Of course she did.
Hi, I'm Betty. I need to talk to you.
Yeah, hey, Mr. Nightcap member, help me out. She related the full story, including the details about the humanoid figures that Barney had observed through binoculars. Betty wrote she and Barney were considering hypnosis to help recall what had happened. Her letter was eventually passed on to Walter N. Webb, a Boston astronomer and Nightcap member. Webb met with the Hills on October 21st, 1961. In a 6-hour interview, the Hills related all that they could remember of the UFO encounter.
Wow.
Barney asserted he had developed a sort of mental block, and he suspected there were some portions of the event he did not wish to remember. He described in detail that he could remember all he could remember about the craft and appearance of the somehow not human figures aboard the craft.
So they probably looked like humans then.
Yes.
Okay.
Or
but it's off.
They weren't seeing them as humans, but the mind control that they forced onto them made them interpret them as humans. So that's why he's saying, okay, they were humans, but they weren't really humans.
Yeah, and probably maybe like their mannerisms or, you'd be
Right.
like, that's not right.
No.
You got that wrong.
So 10 days after the alleged UFO encounter, Betty began having a series of vivid dreams.
Oh, no.
They continued for 5 successive nights.
Ugh.
Never in her memory had she recalled dreams in such detail and intensity, but they stopped abruptly after 5 nights and never returned. But they occupied her thoughts during the day. When she finally mentioned them to Barney, he was sympathetic, but not too concerned, and the matter was dropped.
Betty's like, excuse me.
Yes. And here we go in true Betty fashion.
Is this the dream? Because she wrote them down.
In November of 1961, Betty began writing down the details of her dreams. In one dream, she and Barney encountered a roadblock of men who surrounded their car. She lost consciousness but struggled to regain it. She realized she was being forced by 2 small men to walk in a forest in the nighttime. And of seeing Barney walking behind her, though when she called to him, he seemed to be in a trance or sleepwalking.
Oh, God.
The men stood about 5 feet to 5 feet 4 inches tall and wore matching blue uniforms with caps similar to those worn by military cadets.
Oh, God.
Look at them.
So jaunty.
They're like little Catholic schoolboys. I don't know why
are they
in
wearing... Oh, because they're dressed... They're human looking, though.
Yes.
Oh,
I think that is to give, again, that visual.
If you saw naked humans, you'd be like, what the?
Yeah.
So I was imagining
great.
Gray is wearing...
Yes.
a little cap on their giant heads.
Which was that? Which Paranormal Activity was it? Where just all the naked people were like in the forest doing the cult stuff. That's where my mind would jump to. So thank you for wearing your uniforms and berets or whatever you
I do
had
love
on your
Paranormal
hands.
Activity. That
So
was a
good.
great movie.
They appeared nearly human, with black hair, dark eyes, prominent noses, and bluish
Black eyes.
lips. Their skin was a grayish color.
Yeah,
so there
you're
go.
not human.
No.
Obviously. I mean, I am very pale,
Yes, so we can relate.
but I'm not gray.
Nor wearing a beret.
Or have black eyes.
Yes, so we're good.
Great.
In the dreams, Betty, Barney, and the men walked up a ramp into a disc-shaped craft of metallic appearance. Once inside, Barney and Betty were separated. She protested and was told by a man she called the leader that if she and Barney were examined together, it would take much longer to conduct the exam. So she and Barney were taken to separate rooms.
They're like, we are on a time crunch.
Yes, we
have a schedule.
Exactly. It's going to be sunlight. It's going to come out
That's so
soon.
weird.
We cannot do this. Move on.
I mean, what a
Betty.
dumb excuse.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No.
Right?
And I'd be like, are we going to have to pay 2 co-pays for this? Because I just do it at once, please. I'm not having it.
Insurance jokes.
I am the mother of twins. I know how that goes. Like, no, you charged me twice and they came in one appointment.
Yeah.
Shame on you.
Yeah.
Healthcare industry.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
It's another
that's how I feel about
podcast.
that. Yes. Betty then dreamt that a new man, similar to the others, entered to conduct her exam with the leader. Betty called this new man the examiner.
Oh, God.
And said he had a pleasant, calm manner. Though the leader and the examiner spoke to her in English, the examiner's command of the language seemed imperfect, and she had difficulty understanding him.
He needed to study
I'm like,
more.
that's the worst, too. When someone's speaking and you don't actually know what they're saying because it's so broken, you just smile and nod.
Uh-huh.
She's like, yes, you can. Yes, you.
Thank you for asking.
What's that? An anal proba? I don't know. Yeah, I guess I'll take that. Sure.
Probe? Oh my God.
Okay, sign me up if it'll get me out of here quicker.
This is so wrong.
It is so wrong. Sorry.
Oh my God. And what is he saying to her?
Yeah,
You know?
no idea.
Hey, how's that right? I mean, okay. What are they saying?
She doesn't know. But he seemed to be calm and
That's
pleasant.
nice.
So
That's
good bedside
great.
manner. Thank you,
That
alien.
is great.
The examiner told Betty he would conduct a few tests to note the differences between humans and the craft's occupants. He seated her on a chair, and a bright light was shown on her. The man cut off a lock of Betty's hair. Like, okay, really?
Yeah, don't mess
Stop.
with your
Not
hair.
okay.
Rude.
Is this like a voodoo thing? Quit it.
And what? I mean,
Yeah, what are you going to do with her hair?
DNA?
Maybe. I don't know. Because they don't have any. They're going to turn it into, I'm Hans Wyman, and I am also a customer. They're just walking around with this one hair plug. The envy of all the other aliens. I have one solid lock of black hair.
They just have real weird toupees that don't go at all.
No, not at all. This does not go with your gray
It
skin.
keeps sliding all over.
You are not an autumn. I'm sorry. This does not look good.
Hans Wyman. So funny. Okay.
He examined her eyes, ears, mouth, teeth, throat, and hands. He saved trimmings from her fingernails. Ew.
Oh, God, that gave me a chill.
No, gross.
So gross.
Ugh. That's like those people who... never mind.
Weird.
I'm not even going to go there.
No,
'cause
it's
that's a
like-
disgusting fetish when people chew on other people's nails.
Oh,
that's,
God.
that's a thing. So maybe they had that fetish. Well, save this for later. Yeah.
Can't wait to take this home. Give me a little snack-sized Ziploc bag.
Yum.
It's like my strange addiction.
Yes. After examining her legs and feet, the man used a dull knife similar to a letter opener to scrape some of her skin onto what resembled cellophane. He then tested her nervous system and thrust a needle into her navel, which caused Betty agonizing pain, whereupon the leader waved his hand in front of her eyes and the pain just vanished. So, couldn't you have waved your hand first,
Right.
jerk? Just saying.
And I like how they should really go ahead and come to the world, to Earth, and start some pain management.
Yes.
Clinics.
Yes.
They're just doing this.
Yeah, waving their hands. I mean, why bother with acupuncture if you can just
Right.
wave your hand? That's fantastic.
We're going to solve the war on drugs.
Yes.
No opioids needed.
Nope, we're just waving our hands all over that place. The examiner left the room and Betty engaged in conversation with the leader, is what she refers to him as. She picked up a book with rows of strange symbols that the leader said she could take home with her. Oh, she's
that's
really
nice.
forging a friendship with the leader.
Real nice.
She also asked from where he came, and he pulled down an instructional map dotted with stars. In Betty's dream account, the men began escorting the Hills from the ship when a disagreement broke out.
What? Between
This
the
is hilarious.
aliens?
Yes. The leader informed Betty she couldn't keep the book, stating they decided the other men didn't want her to. So I'm just like, oh my God, that's
can't
such
take back a
You know, as a
gift.
teenager, Dad, you said I can keep that.
Now, Jimmy, I said...
But I told Betty no, she's not taking the book. So I think that's hilarious. They got like in a full
So they took the book back?
They took it back.
Rude.
It is so rude. You don't give a gift and then take it back.
No, how
It's so
funny is
annoying.
that, though? They got into a fight.
Yes.
And they're like, you got to go. You got to go now. Let's get it done.
So Betty's like, oh yeah? Well, watch this. She insisted no matter what they did to her memory, she would one day recall the events. Ha ha, suckers! Go ahead, take the book. I don't need it.
Did she say that?
That was me being her, but it said she insisted no matter what they did to her memory, she'd one day recall.
Go ahead,
so,
try me.
Yeah, take it. Take the I don't need your stupid book.
Yeah, with your stupid hieroglyphics.
I'm going to remember everything you did waving your hands with that needle, you big idiots. That's my insult. I don't know. I mean, it was the 60s. Betty was probably kind of
She's
prim
very
and proper. So she and Barney were taken to the car where the leader suggested they wait to watch the craft's departure. Oh, here.
What?
That's it.
Okay,
you want to watch us
bye.
take off? It's really pretty. Yeah, well, I'll wave goodbye to you. Oh, it'll be real pretty.
I would be so mad. Like, I mean, I guess you'd also be really scared, though. So maybe
Well, yeah.
that's why you're being
I'm like,
so
okay, I'll do
friendly.
whatever you say.
But I don't think I'd be like, hey, okay, oh, thanks for showing me your map. I'd be like, F you.
Yeah.
Get me off of here.
Yeah.
What are you
I don't want to be anywhere around you, and I don't want to watch you take off.
No, screw
This
you
isn't
and
a
your
Bon Voyage party. I'm
Screw you and you're stupid.
getting in my car and going to Waffle House.
Taking
freaking jerk.
Darcy. What's that dog's name?
Delsey.
Elsie.
So they did so, and they resumed their drive. So it's, but what else
what
are you going to do?
You're in the middle of
get
nowhere.
me out of here.
Yes.
So on November 25th, 1961, they were interviewed at length by NICAP members, and this time C.D. Jackson and Robert E. Hammond. Although the Hills had noted they arrived home later than anticipated, the drive should have taken about 4 hours. They claim not to have realized that they arrived home 7 hours after their departure from Colebrook.
Oh, my gosh.
When they noted the discrepancy to the Hills, the couple had no explanation. They claimed to recall almost nothing of the 35 miles of U.S. Route 3 between Lincoln and Indian Head and Ashland. They both claimed to recall an image of a fiery orb on the ground. Betty and Barney reasoned it must have been the moon, but Hammond and Jackson informed them that the moon had set earlier in the evening, so that's not what it could have been. So when the subject of hypnosis came up, it was decided it should be carried out in order to elicit previously irretrievable memories.
Yeah.
Barney was apprehensive about hypnosis, but thought it might help Betty put to rest what Barney described as those nonsense dreams.
Excuse me, Barney, you were
Come
there
on, Barney.
too. So Barney,
you know this
did he-
happened.
Okay, so now they're getting to the hypnosis.
Yes, but
Okay.
I think it's not that Barney doesn't
scared.
think it happened. He's scared to admit what happened.
He's
This
scared.
is terrifying.
And
And
it's
it's
the
actually
60s.
really heartbreaking if you listen to the audio of the hypnosis, because he was
Absolutely.
so traumatized and was sobbing
Yes.
and screaming in terror. It was,
And this is the 60s. So,
Yeah.
like, gender roles were really still, well, I mean, they still are, but were very much still a thing. And so men are not allowed to be scared.
right.
So,
But kudos to Barney for stepping in and supporting her, because by
Awesome.
February of 1962, the Hills were making frequent weekend drives to the White Mountains, hoping that revisiting the site might spark more memories. But I'm
my
like,
God.
well,
That's brave.
Her dreams were doing that, Barney. Like, she was having very vivid dreams
Yes.
of exactly what happened. So I
Yes.
don't think you need to do that to spark
No.
your memory. Just
No.
listen to your wife. Just admit that she's right.
right.
For once.
For
Come
once. And I don't think I drive back to the same place, would you?
on. No. Well, nor did they, because they were unsuccessful in trying to locate the site.
We
Where
can't.
they absorbed the fiery orb in the road.
Okay.
However, they were able to eliminate several possible routes. They
It wasn't
found
here
what
and it
they
wasn't here.
claimed was the capture site on Labor Day weekend in 1965. So this is what I love, too. So on November 23rd, 1962, they attended a meeting at the parsonage of their church, where the invited guest speaker was Captain Ben H. Sweat of the United States Air Force, who recently published a book of poetry.
Why is that necessary to add?
After he read selections
He came
of
to
his
the church. I
poetry,
see.
I'm like, is this a poetry slam at the church?
What kind, like, were they
Why is
haikus?
he reading? Oh, and I even wrote, knees weak, arms are heavy, mom's spaghetti on the sweater, or whatever that is. I'm like, is that what he was doing? I don't understand. And why is he singing Eminem in a church?
Right.
In 1962, before Eminem was born.
Yeah.
It's
An
great.
alien told him to.
After the meeting broke up, the Hills approached Captain Sweat privately and told him what they could remember of the strange encounter. Oh, the reason that they came to see him is because the pastor asked him to talk to them about, in addition to poetry, he also has an interest in hypnosis. So he is just a real Renaissance man, this guy.
Oh, my God. And we need someone with more than just a passing interest.
Yeah, and he was particularly interested in their missing time.
Oh.
The Hills asked him if he would hypnotize them to recover their memories, but he said he was not qualified to do that and cautioned them against going to an amateur hypnotist such as himself. So, I mean, solid piece of advice. Thank you.
Yeah. But he's in the Air Force. It's like, did he have any thoughts about, you know, I wonder if they asked him, were they like,
Well,
hey, you're in the Air Force?
He doesn't just like, okay, later,
But- okay,
weirdos
gotcha.
with them. On March 3rd, 1963, the Hills first publicly discussed the UFO encounter with a group at their church. Again, it's just like, but who else are you going to talk to?
Yeah, they're your church
You're hoping
family.
that they're going to accept you.
Yep. Oh, here he comes back. I see.
Yeah, so on September 7th, Captain Sweat gave a formal lecture on hypnosis to a meeting at the Unitarian Church. After the lecture, the Hills told him that Barney was going to a psychiatrist, a Mr. Stevens, whom he liked and trusted. Captain Sweat suggested Barney ask Stevens about the use of hypnosis in his case. And so the next time Barney met with his psychiatrist, he asked him about hypnosis, and he referred the Hills to Benjamin Simon of Boston. So on November 3rd, they spoke to an amateur UFO study group, the Two-State UFO Study Group in Quincy Center, Massachusetts. And then they first met Simon on December 14th. Early in the discussion, Simon determined that the UFO encounter was causing Barney far more worry and anxiety than he was willing to admit. So though Simon dismissed the popular extraterrestrial hypothesis as impossible, it seemed obvious to him the Hills genuinely thought that they had witnessed a UFO with human-like occupants. So he hoped to uncover more about the experience through hypnosis.
I love that, though, that he believed them. Whether or not he believed it could really happen, he believed that they believed.
Yes, and it was actually traumatizing them. So he genuinely wanted to help them, regardless of whether or not he believed what they
That's a good
actually
psychiatrist.
happened. Yes. So he hypnotized Betty and Barney several times.
The psychiatrist did?
Yes.
Do they do that?
I mean,
he did. But, okay, that's cool.
And the sessions lasted until June 6th. He conducted the sessions on Barney and Betty separately so they could not overhear one another's recollections.
Smart.
Yes. At the end of each session, he reinstated amnesia.
He what?
He so that they wouldn't
remember what they
what they were talking about because he knew they were so traumatized.
Yeah.
So,
and when you said amnesia, in my mind, I thought anesthesia and was very confused.
Oh no!
And then he gave them anesthesia.
Yes, Rohypnol. I don't know.
Good
Is that a thing?
I don't know. I only think of the one that...
Or no, fentanyl. I don't know.
The one that...
What killed Michael Jackson?
That's exactly what I was thinking.
He did not use that on Betty and Barney.
And then Michael Jackson came.
Yeah, they wake up and they just have one shiny glove on their hands.
I love
and
how
they
we're
don't
understanding
what's happening.
We're both such idiots that our only thought on knowledge on anesthesia is just what killed Michael Jackson.
That's it. That's all we got. It's not like either of us have ever been put under for any reason whatsoever.
We both love the paranormal and Us Weekly.
Yes.
Oh my God, we're such nerds.
Not so much Michael Jackson's behavior that came out. And what was that? Finding Neverland or whatever?
I didn't watch it. Did you watch it?
No, but I've heard enough about it.
Yeah,
I
don't want to watch it.
Not on his team anymore.
No.
Michael. I totally regret wearing that stupid Thriller t-shirt I got for Christmas that year. I was so excited. Now it's like, Michael, shame on you.
That is a great song.
It is a great song.
Yeah.
Okay. So he hypnotized Barney first. His recall of witnessing non-human figures was quite emotional, punctuated with expressions of fear and emotional outbursts. And I listened. Like, he was so upset during these sessions. Barney said due to his fear, he kept his eyes closed for much of the abduction and physical examination, which I can totally relate to. I'd be just like peeking through my fingers.
I mean, if It Chapter 2 is any indication, me too.
I'm not going to be able to watch this.
She'd be like,
no. I wouldn't want to see what was going on. I'd be like, can you just hang a sheet up and just look?
Yes.
Or knock me out. Do something. Based on these early responses, Simon told Barney he would not remember the hypnosis sessions until he was certain he could remember them without being further traumatized. Under hypnosis, Barney reported the binocular strap had broken when he ran from the UFO back to his car. He recalled, I
get it.
If you're ever going to run so hard you're going to break a leather strap, it's to get away from a UFO. He recalled
filled with waving humanoids. Hi, bye. Have a good trip.
You want to watch this thing?
No.
No, not okay. He recalled driving the car away from the UFO, but that afterwards he felt irresistibly compelled to pull off the road and drive into the woods.
What?
Ew. That's scarier than any of it. He eventually sighted 6 men standing in the road. The car stalled and 3 of the men approached the car. They told Barney to not fear him. He was still anxious, however, and he reported the leader told Barney to close his eyes. So while hypnotized, Barney said, I felt like the eyes had pushed into my eyes.
What?
Like, worst staring contest ever. Like, your eyes are pushing into my eyes, which I guess made him feel compelled to close his own.
Have you ever made some eye contact like that with somebody?
Oh, every day of my life.
And you're like,
oh God, I just want to look away. This is so uncomfortable. Yes, every day.
Oh my God.
Every time I encounter any other human being. Even with you here, I'm like, we've been looking at each other too long across the table.
Me too. Who's that guy that backs into on Bathsheba's poker face?
Manny. Oh, Manny, you're just going to keep coming back.
Manny, we love you.
Barney described the beings as generally similar to Betty's I can't speak. What is wrong with me?
You're good.
Betty's hypnotic recollection.
Yep.
Sorry. I wanted to say Biggie.
Can't you
Hypnotize
see?
me. Oh, God.
It's another $5.
My brain is a mess. It's just all over the place.
Biggie.
So the beings often stared into his eyes, said Barney with a terrifying,
God,
mesmerizing
stop
effect.
looking in my eyes.
They are so socially inappropriate.
They don't get excused. No. This means look away. I can't look at you at all now because we're talking so much about eye contact.
Well, under hypnosis, he said things like, "Oh, those eyes, they're in my brain." And I was told to close my eyes because I saw two eyes coming close to mine, and I felt like their eyes had pushed into my eyes. And then I love how he's like, all I see are these eyes. I'm not even afraid that they're not connected to my body. They're just there. They're just up close to me, pressing against my eyes. It's like, ew.
And why were they...
They're-
Sorry, but like, if you're gonna look into some, don't they have a machine? Why are they just like?
I don't understand. I don't know. Like, I hope they ate a freaking lifesaver mint
So
first or
confused.
something. Why are you
just
giving
there.
shots in
They're
his
up close.
eyes?
Oh God, I just
so
hit the
weird.
mic.
So weird.
Okay.
So Barney related he and Betty were taken into the disc-shaped craft where they were separated. So again, they aren't sharing any of these details in front of the other ones. So they are both recalling these same
That's so good.
details. He was escorted into a room by 3 men and told to lie on a rectangular exam table. Unlike Betty, Barney's narrative of the exam was less detailed as he continued to keep his eyes closed for most of the exam.
Me too, Barney.
I feel you, Barney. I do the same thing.
Me too.
But a cup-like
God.
device
Oh,
was
God.
placed over his genitals.
So a cup.
Oh,
God.
Great.
Oh, God.
Fun.
Oh, God.
But, and it didn't say this in this Wikipedia article, but I did read several other articles and listen to all sorts of things on YouTube and stuff about it. And it said that after he started attending these hypnosis sessions, this is terrible. But he's saying a cup-like device was placed over his genitals.
What are you about to say?
There was a perfectly circular ring of warts appeared around his genitals. Oh my God, like somebody get Barney a t-shirt. Like, I was abducted and all I got was a stinking STD. What the hell?
Barney's like,
So it's just
dang it, who told?
And then I was reading it and I thought, this is how my brain works. I'm like, so there's been a huge miscommunication in all the intergalactical things all these years. It's like, damn it, Eugene. I said crotch circles, not crop circles. Am I right? That's all these years. All these crop circles were not supposed to be appearing. They were supposed to be crotch circles because that's what happened to Barney.
Oh my God, poor
Really,
Barney.
really. You like,
Sorry,
I don't know. You gave Betty a book and me genital
Sorry, I
warts.
just touched your bare toes under the table.
What the hell? I mean,
Oh
why
my
couldn't the
God.
leader and the other guy argue to take those back? Why was
I
it
feel
the
bad
book?
for him. Don't you?
Yes, I do. And even though he didn't experience an orgasm, oh God, an orgasm, he.
You had to say
I
orgasm.
know. I'm so uncomfortable. No wonder he didn't want to look in their eyes. God.
Well, of course he didn't have an
No,
orgasm.
no,
What a
but-
stupid thing.
Well, he was saying that because he said a sperm sample was taken, but he didn't want
like, "Excuse me, I
anyone
need-"
to think like he enjoyed that. So, just to be clear, yes, I came back with an STD, and
I
some
swear,
sperm
Betty, it
was
didn't mean nothing to me.
I don't even like men who wear berets.
Traveling Bathsheba, she gave me the warts. Oh my God. I feel so bad for him.
I feel really bad for him.
God.
Oh my God.
You just had to see orgasm.
And then and something else I read, I think it even said he eventually had to have them like surgically removed.
it just keeps getting
They
worse
just
for
won't
Barney.
go away. He's like, I rubbed the cream on it.
These
nothing.
These intergalactic warts.
They just won't leave.
They're way worse than your earthly
Worst
warts.
one-night stand ever.
Oh, my God.
The men also...
We are not making fun of alien abductees. It's really serious.
Or STDs.
Or STDs. If you have been abducted, just contact us.
Yes.
on the hunt at gmail.com.
We will be able to give you no help whatsoever, but
we want to talk to you.
we'll listen to your story.
Yes, we will.
So the men also scraped his skin and peered in his ears and mouth. A thin tube or cylinder was inserted into his, and this is where there was a typo. I'm like, what's an anisand? That's because there was no space between anus and. So just to clarify, what's an anisand? So just to clarify, a thin tube or cylinder was inserted into his anus and quickly removed. Oh, thank you. Could you have inserted it quickly? That would have been better. Just like ripping a Band-Aid off. Just pull that cylinder right out of my anus.
Like, what was the point of that? To take a stool sample? Like, it was so quick.
I don't know.
Oh, my God.
Ugh, gross.
I mean, do they know they're getting stool? Do they want that? You know what I mean?
No, I don't know. What are they going to do with that? I have no idea.
What did this human eat today?
Yes.
Yesterday.
I see you really like
M&Ms.
kettle corn.
Kettle corn.
I don't know. I imagine if I was on a
kettle corn
trip with
good.
my significant other, like going from Montreal back
Mine
home.
would just be full of Slim Jims. Which
would be perfect to come out in the cylinder. I mean, here you go.
It's still in its form.
Oh, God, that's where Slim Jims actually come from.
We're so gross. Sorry if you don't like poop jokes. Skip ahead.
Sorry
20
if we just ruined Slim Jims for you.
Slim Jims are delicious.
Someone also felt his spine and seemed to be counting his vertebrae.
Oh, God.
Awesome. Betty reported a conversation with the leader that she understood
She's just over here chatting, and he's getting his butthole.
But Barney said he heard them speaking in a mumbling language that he didn't understand, yet he also understood them in English. So they weren't speaking English, but he was somehow
they can mind control it somehow. Oh, my God.
Betty also mentioned this detail. The few times they communicated with him, Barney said it seemed to be thought transference. At that time, because he was unfamiliar with the word telepathy. I bet you know it now.
Oh, Barney.
God,
Barney.
Come on, brush up on this stuff. Both Betty and Barney stated that they hadn't observed the beings' mouths moving when they communicated in English with them. Well, no, because they were pressing their eyes into your eyes.
And they're just going, but you hear English words.
Yeah, so weird.
They're ventriloquists.
He recalled being escorted from the ship and taken to his car. In a daze, he watched the ship leave. Barney remembered a light appearing on the road and said, "Oh, no, not again." Yeah,
that's not funny, but
no. That's exactly. I'd be like, "Are you serious?
This is my life now.
Yeah,
I just get abducted all the time. I have so many warts. I can't even live my life.
I am one giant wart." Fantastic. Oh, God. So he recalled Betty's speculation the light might have been the moon, though the moon had set several hours
Betty,
earlier.
do you know we just saw? God! I mean, really? Let the moon go. It's never the moon.
From now on, don't ever jump to that. We become Amy and Whitney, we automatically jump to, it was aliens.
Right. But
we're the guy with the hair. It was the aliens. Whatever his name is.
You just got off a ship.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, he did also say that he stated he attempted to produce the code-like buzzing sounds, which seemed to strike the car's trunk a second time by driving from side to side and stopping and starting the vehicle. His attempt was unsuccessful.
Creepy.
So, under hypnosis, Betty's account was similar to the events of her 5 dreams about the UFO abduction, but there were also notable differences, mainly pertaining to her capture and release.
Okay.
The technology on the craft was different. The men had a significantly different physical appearance from that of her dreams. And so it kind of makes you think they're manipulating her dreams as well, which they're probably frustrated that she's even dreaming. But she was like, "You're not giving me that book. I'll show you."
Gosh,
jerks.
dang it.
So
I
they're
love
like,
Betty.
so
Man,
they're
tenacity.
somehow manipulating.
That's
I think,
weird,
these
though.
memories,
Like,
but then
after the fact?
yeah, but now that she's being hypnotized, it's like,
work on that
I got 'em
sucker.
all. So the sequential order of the abduction event was also different from Betty's dream account. Barney's and Betty's memories and hypnotic regression were consistent with one another, but contradicted some of the information in Betty's dreams. Betty exhibited considerable emotional distress during her capture and examination. Obviously. Simon ended one session early because tears were flowing down her cheeks and she appeared distressed. Simon gave Betty the post-hypnotic suggestion that she could sketch the copy of the star map. Remember, they showed her that star map when she was on board the craft, that she later described as a three-dimensional projection similar to a hologram. Eventually, she did what Simon suggested. Although she said the map had many stars, she drew only those that stood out in her memory.
Interesting.
Her map consisted of 12 prominent stars connected by lines and 3 lesser ones that formed a distinctive triangle. She said she was told the stars connected by solid lines formed trade routes, whereas dashed lines were less traveled stars. So
weird.
I am thinking this
Trade
guy,
routes.
you know how your friend that has just one too many beers and just starts spilling all of your secrets. Like, I feel like this was that guy that
You want to see my map?
Yeah. This is where we
get our molasses. I don't know.
We deliver a variety of teas and essential oils.
We're in a multi-level marketing scam.
Yes.
Do you need some leggings? What else are...
Or some Tupperware.
Where? Do you need any... God, I can't think of it.
Or we also specialize in cream that clears genital warts. This may not seem pertinent to you now, but it will later.
It will. Do you need a skinny wrap? You mean I did that once?
Yeah, that was great.
Real magical.
We lost 0 inches.
Yes,
off of
we lost 0 inches
muffin
and
tops.
They wrapped us in plastic wrap. Maybe we were abducted that night.
Could be.
Oh, that's where those warts came from. Okay,
We were
bad
taken
joke.
to whatever it was. Reticulum. Zeta reticulum. I don't know. Oh my God, where are we going? No, just kidding. It was at Jackie's house and she had delicious
She was
Dos
very
Primas
nice. Thank you, Jackie.
queso dip. So that's probably why we lost 0 inches off our muffin tops with the skinny wrap.
Oh, well.
Okay. So after the sessions, Simon speculated Betty's recollection of the UFO encounter was possibly a fantasy inspired by Betty's dreams, and Simon thought it was most reasonable and consistent explanation. Barney rejected this idea. Thank you, Barney, for finally being like, Betty, I got you, girl.
Yeah, yes.
Don't worry. Noting that while their memories were consistent in some regards, there are also portions of both their narratives that were unique to each. Barney was now ready to accept the fact that they had been abducted by the occupants of the UFO, though he never embraced it as fully as Betty did. Again, I think that's kind of a male thing. Yeah. They went back to their regular lives. They were willing to discuss the alleged UFO encounter with friends, family, and the occasional UFO researcher. But they apparently made no effort to seek publicity. So
that tells you something, though, because if you're doing this for money, you're going to seek publicity.
Exactly. So they were doing this just to tell their story. Yeah. They wanted nothing in return. They gained nothing from this.
I mean, they probably
they probably gained a lot of ridicule and
notoriety.
Yes. And again, it was the 60s. Good times. Thank you, Jesus. I was not around in those days.
Yes.
I wouldn't have lasted a minute.
Although the fashion.
Oh, yeah.
So cute.
Is that when was Grease? No, that was the 50s. What was the 60s?
50s. When's Mad Men? 40s? I love their
50s.
fashion, too.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway,
okay, sorry. We got to remember this is a podcast, not just us.
When is that? And they're like, people are
demonstrating our lack of knowledge.
Yeah, people are shouting at us. They're like, it was obviously the 40s. Shut up.
Betty's like coming off the UFO in her poodle skirt. I don't know.
We don't know. Sorry, everyone.
So
hope you're still there.
Yeah, on October 25th, 1965, a front page story in the Boston Traveler asked UFO Chiller, did they seize the couple? Reporter John H. Luttrell of the Traveler had allegedly been given an audio tape recording of a lecture they made in Quincy Center in late 1963, and Luttrell learned the Hills had undergone hypnosis with Simon. He also obtained notes from confidential interviews the Hills had given to UFO investigators. I even wrote on here, I'm like, hello, HIPAA. Is that why HIPAA is a thing
exists
now? How dare you?
Yeah, that's rude.
In 1966, writer John Fuller secured the cooperation of the Hills and Simon and wrote the book, The Interrupted Journey, about the case. The book included a copy of Betty's sketch of the star map. It was a quick success and went through several printings. Later in life, Betty claimed to have seen UFOs a number of times after the initial abduction, and she became a celebrity in the UFO community. Good for you, Betty.
Heck yeah.
Barney died of a cerebral hemorrhage on March 25th, 1969, at the age of 46.
Wow, so not that long after all that.
Which kind of makes you question.
That's really sad.
And Betty died of cancer on October 17th, 2004, at age 85, never having remarried.
Oh, God.
I love her. And I actually watched an interview of her when she was much, much older, and she was still sticking to her story. Was not wavering from the facts of what happened to her. And she was just like, listen, suckers, I'm telling you. And she was on her own at that point because Barney was gone.
Did they ever have kids? Or
No, they had Delcy, their dog. That was it.
She still was alive
all their
in
little
2000.
family photos. It was them and their dog. And they were so cute.
I love it.
So cute.
Oh, that's precious.
So that was my alien
I
abduction
love that,
story.
Amy. What a good one. Heavy hitter.
Thank you. So I thought since we were doing alien abductions, I would bring a couple personal stories into it.
Okay, let's hear it.
Take with what you will. I did not ask my grandma permission for this, so sorry. And I'm sure I'm messing this up totally. But my grandma, love her.
Awesome
Hey,
person.
Eloise.
Hell, Eloise.
She is very, very grounded in her faith, but she's also super open-minded and absolutely believes that there are so many things that can't be explained, and that doesn't counteract your faith,
Right.
and your strength in your religion. And
Agree, Eloise.
Yes. She told me that once it was her and one of her sisters. I don't remember which sister it was, so I'm not even going to pretend and say it was, because then they're all going to I don't want to start some sort of family feud. But her and her sister were coming home from somewhere, and this was, I think they were maybe in their late teens, she said, early 20s. And they saw something that they believed was a UFO while they were driving down the road in their car. And when they started seeing it and looking at it and commenting on it, their car stalled out and just stopped dead in the road. And they continued to see whatever it was in the sky for a short period of time, and then it disappeared. And then even though they tried to start the car multiple times while that was in the sky, once it was gone, they were able to start the car and drive on about their business. So, and again, Grandma didn't blow this up into some big, and give all these crazy details. She was just like, this is what happened, and I'm telling you it happened, and take what you will with it.
Crazy.
And then another personal story I have, it's probably been at least 20 years ago. I had a dream that I was abducted by aliens, and in my dream, they stuck a needle in my leg. That's really all I remember from the dream. But when I woke up from the dream, I have an indentation in my leg in the spot where the needle was stuck. And you really can't see it anymore. But if I rub my finger over that spot, you can still to this day, 20 years later, feel that indentation. So I'm like, I don't know what really happened there, but something poked me in the leg when I was sleeping. And in my dream, or was it a dream? It was aliens sticking me with a needle.
How were your warts?
Thank God I did not contract an STD from that, which would be my leg. I don't understand. I don't think that's how STDs work, but yeah,
they just
they're
missed
on my leg. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, I have a story too. So my mom, we used to always tell this story about she was driving home late one night, from a concert or something. She's driving on Highway 61 around where we live, north.
Where all the crazy stuff always happens.
Amy and I have seen so many things on the road, you all. A clown riding a unicycle, carrying a machete. Yes.
True story. It happened.
Where do you even buy a unicycle? Anyway.
Yeah.
A clown store.
And where do you get the confidence to ride a unicycle while holding a machete and wearing a clown costume?
Yeah. I mean, it was not Halloween.
No, and this was 11:30 at night.
Yeah, not right.
On a major highway.
Yes.
So crazy.
Weird. So she was driving home, and it's dark because they're coming home from a concert. And so she said that suddenly the sky just lit up as if it was daylight. And so she said it came from behind her, and it just something flew over top of her car. She couldn't see an object. All she saw was a blinding light. It lit the sky up as if it was day. And flew over her car and then flew off into the distance and disappeared. And then the sky went back to normal. And so I remember her talking to her about this. so many times. And I'd be like, well, because I truly, here we go, I'm going down to conspiracy rabbit holes, but I believe there are so many things that the government knows that they don't tell us.
Oh, absolutely. That'd be the only reason I'd ever run for the presidency of the United States.
Just to know.
Just so that I can know. I want that file.
Give me that black book. Because either one, they know about aliens, or two, they have so many weird technologies that we don't know about. So either way, something weird, something cool.
Yes.
So, all right. Well,
thank you for sharing.
Thank you for listening. And
and if any of you have any UFO, alien experiences, no matter how small, we'd love to hear about them.
Yes, please. So you can email us at onthehaunt@gmail.com. You can hit us up on Twitter.
On Haunt Podcast
is our
minus
username.
the.
And then we are also on Instagram on the Haunt and Facebook on the Haunt. So like us on all of those, please. And then if you can please rate, review, and subscribe to us on YouTube. We're now on Castbox. Thank you, Crystal. I did not even know what that is. And Chris is not the one who put it on there. So I literally don't know how it got on, how our podcast got on there, but it did, which is cool.
What a mystery.
Right. But it's a great one. We'll go for it.
And thank you so much to those of you who are going on there.
Yes.
And we had several more people review us on different social media outlets and on Apple podcasts this week, and we genuinely enjoy reading those. Thank you so much. We can't believe people are, one, even taking the time to listen to this, and then two, give us feedback on it. We love it so much.
We really appreciate it. I mean, we're just two idiot friends here who love talking about weird stuff, and so to have people that actually want to listen and reach out to us and let us know that you're listening, we really appreciate it. You guys rock.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right. This has been another episode of On the Haunt. We've got to quit. We're so stupid.
I know.
Bye. Bye.